This is also the National Institutes of Health, which last year proposed to amend their mission statement to exclude the word disability, saying it, quote, could be interpreted as perpetuating ableist beliefs that disabled people are flawed and need to be fixed. Let me take this moment to go on record. Folks, if I am ever struck blind or deaf or paralyzed, don't praise me. Fix me. The woke think the #1 job is to protect homeless people from stigma. I think the #1 job is to protect them from rain. When Adele lost weight, she was excoriated for betrayal. To who? She betrayed the unhealthy?
The left is fuming again, and this time, their targets are the very people trying to fix the problems dragging society down. In the far-left bubble, virtue and solutions belong exclusively to them. Anyone outside that circle is instantly labeled a fraud, a grandstander, or a praise-hungry hypocrite. Ridiculous, exactly. And Maher thought so too. With his signature sharp tongue, the comic sliced straight through the performative outrage, and honestly, it was pure entertainment. So grab the popcorn he didn't hold back. Let's get into it.
A Washington Post reporter tweeted, what truly needs curing is society's view of disabled people. And BuzzFeed agreed, Mr. Beast seems to regard disability as something that needs to be solved. Okay, disability is something that needs to be solved. And what truly needs curing is blindness. Here's how I know this. The newly sighted people are cheering, not booing, because Mr. Beast, whoever the that is, just cured them and you didn't do shit. You know the expression, or go blind? You didn't either.
Maher doesn't tiptoe around the issue, he goes straight for the throat. No warm-up, no soft landing. He calls out a pattern everyone recognizes. The far left rarely steps in to help, but the moment someone else actually does, they're ready to cancel them with Olympic-level reflexes. Their latest complaint, that doing good doesn't count if it recorded and shared on YouTube. Maher fires back with the obvious question, where do they think the money to do that good comes from YouTube? Posting the videos is an ego at the engine that funds the kindness. And here the ironic part, if he had unlimited money and helped no one, the far left would still come after him. It's a no-win game, because their outrage isn't about ethics, it's about power. You can't satisfy people who are committed to being offended.
I don't get the woke. They love nothing more than being a victim, except when they really are one, and then they tell you, I am not, go f*** yourself. Get this. Last month, Mr. Beast, in another dick move, funded the construction of 100 wells across 5 countries in Africa to provide clean drinking water to 500,000 people. Good thing, right? No. Not good, bad. The founder of a charity called Face Africa called it kind of frustrating that overnight this person comes along who happens to be a white male figure with a huge platform, and all of a sudden he gets all of the attention. Yes, but you know what else is frustrating? Dying of thirst.
That's exactly the point I've been making. The woke left stays in a constant state of outrage and is impressed by absolutely nothing. Mr. Beast's humanitarian work in Africa should be universally applauded. Instead, an NGO is furious because they believe he's stealing their spotlight. Think about that. If someone is doing the very work you claim to champion, providing clean water, improving infrastructure, changing lives, the rational response would be to collaborate and amplify the impact. But their reaction exposes something far less noble. They don't want Mr. Beast involved because his presence redirects attention. And when attention shifts, so does the funding they've grown comfortable collecting. Once the money slows, their influence and control of the narrative starts to fade. Their outrage isn't about morality or results. It's about losing control and losing the stage.
Mr. Beast, how dare he come in and bogart digging the wells? That's so white guy, always taking fresh water and shoving it down our throats. Oh, another thing this asshole did in Africa was pay for the rebuilding of an African orphanage which the director of the Hope and Homes for Children charity called it a classic case of white saviorism. So true. Ask any orphan to name the worst part of their life. Show-offs!
The longer you sit with this, the more outrageous it becomes. Society problems were never going to be solved by governments alone, or by the self-appointed crusaders of the far left. Real progress has always come from people ordinary or influential who choose to step up and act. That's exactly what Mr. Beast is doing. His work in Africa isn't some exaggerated display of white saviorism, no matter how eagerly critics throw the label around. It's a direct response to urgent, real-world needs that countless governments have neglected for generations. Clean water, infrastructure, and basic necessities aren't political talking points, they're fundamental human requirements. And when someone finally steps in to provide them, the focus should be on the lives being improved, not on endlessly dissecting the motives of the person offering help. Mr. Beast isn't undermining anyone. He's filling a void that never should have existed in the first place.
How did we get to this weird place? Telling people who are actually out in the world making a positive difference, you're the problem. Yeah, quick question. Who the f are you? This isn't only the media and the people on Twitter who exist to bitch, always finding something. He just did it for the clicks, or for the wrong reason, or you should have done more, or sooner, or whatever. You signed X. No.
Maher's words land like a clean punch, sharp, direct, and impossible to brush aside. And frankly, he's right to call it out. Who are these far-left critics who think they alone hold the moral authority to judge generosity? It's almost comical. They won't lift a finger to help, yet the moment someone else actually does, they rush in to cancel, criticize, and complain. Sincerity doesn't matter, they'll always dig around for something to condemn, as if flaw hunting is a full-time job. In their worldview, every good deed must conceal a sinister motive unless they're the ones doing it. Then it suddenly becomes sacred, untouchable, and perfectly virtuous. Maher exposes that double standard with precision. His message is simple. Altruism shouldn't be attacked just because it comes from outside an approved ideological circle. Good is good, no matter who delivers it.
This is also the National Institutes of Health, which last year proposed to amend their mission statement to exclude the word disability, saying it, quote, could be interpreted as perpetuating ableist beliefs that disabled people are flawed and need to be fixed. Let me take this moment to go on record. Folks, if I am ever struck blind or deaf or paralyzed, don't praise me, fix me. Don't sit around talking about how much I'm just as good as you. Fix me. Do something. Use AI. Invent something. Steal body parts from a pet cemetery.
Maher is right, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. People living with disabilities don't need empty speeches, trendy hashtags, or hollow woke slogans that celebrate them while doing nothing to address their real challenges. What they actually need is tangible support, medical care, accessibility, opportunity, and practical tools that help them overcome obstacles and fully participate in life. Maher makes a simple point: empowering people to improve their circumstances isn't offensive. It's basic humanity. Yet somehow, the far-left outrage machine twists sincere help into an insult, as if offering a path to a better life is an attack on someone's identity. It's absurd. Real compassion isn't performative applause from the sidelines. It's about removing barriers so people can grow, succeed, and enjoy the same freedoms everyone else takes for granted.
You know, there's so much faking this time of year between the presents you don't want to buy and the presents you didn't want to get and the goodwill toward men that lasts until January 2nd. I just don't have room for, and disability is awesome. It's not awesome, and it's not a political affiliation. That's the problem. We turn everything into a political identity category. You're deaf, that's your identity. Don't mess up a good thing by hearing.
Maher is spot on. Everything has become so politicized that even disability is now treated as an identity label. In today's world, nothing is allowed to simply exist as it is. Everything has to be squeezed into a political narrative or cultural category. And this didn't happen overnight. It started on the left, where every issue and every group was turned into a branded identity. Homelessness, illness, immigration status, nothing was allowed to remain neutral. A label was always waiting. Instead of addressing real problems with real solutions, lived experiences were turned into ideological trophies. Now disability has been pulled into the same game, as a political symbol rather than a human condition that requires practical support, empathy, and meaningful action. Maher exposes just how absurd it's become when common sense is replaced by identity theatrics.
When Adele lost weight, she was excoriated for betrayal. To who? She betrayed the unhealthy? The woke have even turned the homeless into a political identity group, as opposed to liberals, old-school liberals, who just want to get them off the street, which now is seen as kind of judgy, like, don't disturb them in their natural habitat.
It's the same mindset that helped fuel California homelessness crisis. Instead of supporting real solutions, treatment, shelters, rehabilitation programs, and policies that actually reduce homelessness, the woke crowd resisted nearly every practical step. When city officials tried to clear dangerous encampments, activists rushed in, insisting sidewalks and tent cities were somehow the homeless population natural habitats. The logic would be laughable if the consequences weren't so severe. Leaving people in unsafe, unsanitary, and dehumanizing conditions isn't compassionate negligence dressed up as virtue. By blocking effective interventions in the name of ideological purity, they trapped people in the very suffering they claimed to oppose. Rather than helping the homeless off the streets, they ensured they stayed there. That isn't empathy. It's misery preserved under the banner of morality.
They're just living their best life under the bridge. The woke think the number one job is to protect homeless people from stigma. I think the number one job is to protect them from rain.
Anyone who truly claims to care about the homeless has one basic responsibility: get them real help and off the streets. That's the starting point. Once people are in safe environments away from violence, disease, addiction triggers, and the constant fight to survive, then you can address stigma and work to restore dignity. Trying to protect people from judgment, while leaving them on the streets, is completely backwards. It's putting the cart so far ahead of the horse that the horse can't even see it. Leaving people in dangerous, unstable encampments just to signal compassion isn't compassion at all, at moral theater. Real care confronts the root causes: mental health, addiction, unemployment, and broken support systems, while helping people reintegrate into society. Anything less is performative concern, where suffering continues in plain sight while nothing truly changes.
Speaking of which, when I did the Ice Bucket Challenge back in 2014, I thought I was helping the cause of funding research to cure ALS. Wrong again! An op-ed in Time magazine said the Ice Bucket Challenge even seems to be suggesting that being cold, wet, and uncomfortable is preferable to fighting ALS. It was suggesting no such thing. What is wrong with this country that so many people can't be happy for anything for even a second?
Maher nails it. Woke culture has turned into a pack of wet blankets, always ready to smother anything that excites, inspires, or simply brings joy, especially if they didn't create it. If they're not in control, suddenly everything is problematic, offensive, or worthy of cancellation. The predictability would be funny if it weren't so exhausting. In their world, nothing is acceptable unless it comes from their ideological corner. Nitpicking has become a full-time obsession, fueled by the belief that they alone possess the moral compass while everyone else stumbles in ignorance. Maher exposes this hypocrisy with surgical precision, showing that the woke don't just dislike what they didn't make, they actively try to shut it down. Instead of celebrating good deeds, humor, or progress, they hunt for outrage. The reality is clear: this isn't about compassion or progress, it's about control and ideological policing. Help, joy, and generosity are only acceptable if they flow through approved channels. Everything else gets attacked, criticized, or cancelled. Maher critique is a reminder that common sense and genuine action shouldn't be punished for refusing to follow a political script. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.